What else do you see happening? As we move forward, get out your crystal ball here a little bit, which is always dangerous. But I mean, we obviously we've started to see, in the last 10 years, the kind of all-in-one speaker system where you've got DSP and power, built right into the speaker. I assume we're going to see somewhat of a continuation of that. I know you've got some great strategic relationships.
Yeah, it's going to be, more of that. And more control over it. The ability to, predict what the sound is going to do and then optimize that to the conditions, basically to the room. Mm-hmm. So it comes down to, in effect, pattern control. And we're trying to build in more variability in the actual loudspeaker. We kind of pioneered this several years ago with so-called digitally steered array. Mm-hmm. And I think I earlier mentioned we did this huge project in...
let's come back to that, because it's a perfect time to talk about the ability to throw sound 4 miles. And
yeah, so we were presented with a challenge could we project voice for 4 miles in a condition where the loudspeakers were installed at about an elevation around 1,800 feet. They go up from there, 360 degrees. And we came up with a solution that involved some fairly new advanced componentry that would operate out to about 5,000 cycles. You run into air loss at higher frequencies fairly rapidly. Mm-hmm. And quite a bit before 4 miles. 4 miles is an almost impossible challenge.
Yeah.
You got limited bandwidth there.
Yes.
The air becomes a brick wall at 1,500 cycles or even below.
Yep.
But the bigger part of the challenge is actually creating a uniform sound field from about roughly 500 meters out. Well, when you're up 500 meters, 500 meters out is it's a very steep down angle. And the ultimate distance is a very shallow down angle. It's around 2 degrees or so. And in order to have the uniformity, we had to implement the steering techniques we developed for DSA in an external system. And we weren't building the amplifiers into everything. So we partnered with PowerSoft in Italy to be able to run our algorithms in their DSP platform. We came to an agreement with them on it. And that actually has led to the ability to now do what we call externally powered DSA. We've got a couple of projects going on that will probably see fruition in the next couple of years of this type of thing. We've got a fairly high power DSA type system that is externally powered. These are really, right now, they're intended for outdoor use. But the ability is there just to build a system at a number of different power levels using that technology. And of course, so what this is all doing about predicting how the sound integrates over the distance and making it extraordinarily uniform. So you can actually dial in the characteristics that you want. And actually so EAW is a brand within Loud Technologies. There's another fairly well-known brand, Martin Audio. Martin Audio has recently released they call it the MLA, Martin Line Array, high-powered touring sound that, interestingly enough, has a DSP platform designed by EAW on board it. That gives that some fairly extraordinary capabilities.
Yeah, when you have sister companies, you kind of need to play nice every now and then, don't you?
Yeah. So there's been some back and forth there, and there is a not really an external brand, but an internal group in the company that does the digital hardware platforms. That they're the resource to the EAW engineering group and also to the Martin group. They're headquartered out in Victoria, British Columbia. They do the hardware and the basic, all the firmware development. We still write all the code for our stuff in Whitensville. You know, particularly the proprietary stuff that we're doing there. They develop the hardware platforms. So looking forward to the future, I think there is more integration of amplification, particularly with DSP. It gives us some unique capabilities, and you really can do more with a totally integrated solution. I mean, one of the things, one of the design considerations behind it is there's two-way communication. So you're always getting reporting back, and then you can tell the thing to find what it is it's going to do. It can be locked down, so you don't need the computer running it all the time. You just set the format and leave it, and you go back and change it sometime. Or you can set up different scenes, so during shows or particularly predefined events, you can change what it's doing in a known manner. There'll be more developments along this line, but we don't see like an either-or solution. We don't say, well, it's got to be internally powered or it's got to be externally powered. Mm-hmm. We do see, not just throwing out a system and say, well, hook up anything to it. Because there's much more of a focus now in defining how the thing is to work. So that's why we're talking about internal or external power. The external power may be fairly well defined. And at that level, EAW right now does not have a plan for this huge range of amplifiers. So there's a lot of amplifier manufacturers out there. We have partnered with what we think to be two of the best ones, Lab Group and PowerSoft. And oh, by the way, they generally are digital switch mode amplifiers. They've got a lot of experience with it. They mm-hmm. do a really good job at this. And through, A/B blind, double-blind listening tests, these are the best amplifiers out there. So they pass the audio guru consideration.
Yep.
They've got enough experience. They're very reliable. They've got very advanced DSP. And we're able to run our algorithms on their platforms now. So it's kind of a partnership relationship. Mm-hmm. We're not branding them. You're not going to buy an EAW branded Lab Group and a PowerSoft.
Sure. Yep.
But you can, buy their range of amplifiers and embed our DSP algorithms within their platforms. And we see that a way of expanding the ability to, I hate to use the word control, but that's really what it comes down to, because we're trying to bring some really advanced technology into place and then ensure that the product is used consistently throughout the world. That actually has created some pushback. Over the years, people have figured out they can take EAW and they can make it sound the way they want it to sound, and use their particular techniques of doing it. And I will say some other companies have shown success in unwillingness to do that, defining how the product is going to be used, and that creates a consistency in it. And there's certain advantages to that. So again, we're trying to a little bit, balance the two approaches.